Hello and welcome to the National Arboretum. I'm here today for the unveiling of a memorial and to conduct a service and preach at it, and I shall be saying a little bit more in a few moments about that memorial. The memorial is to the Lisbon Meru. But first of all, let me just walk round very slightly, and I hope you can see behind me something of the extent of the National Arboretum. The National Arboretum was the brainchild of David Charles, who in conversation with Leonard Cheshire decided there ought to be a national centre of memory for all those who have died serving their country. After a campaign to raise millions of pounds, this site was bought, a 500-acre site, and today not only is it full of 30,000 trees, but over 350 memorials. These memorials, of course, are not just memorials for the armed forces. They're memorials which reflect and remember all those who've served their country. So they're memorials to the police, the ambulance service, fire service, and many other organisations who've served their country. Behind me, though, at the centre of the Arboretum, there, perhaps you can see it, is the Armed Forces Memorial. This memorial was opened by Her Majesty the Queen in 2007 and is a memorial to the 16,000 people who've died since the end of the Second World War. For me, this is a very poignant memorial because on the memorial are the names of soldiers who I buried, soldiers whose families I looked after and cared for, and so you can imagine this memorial is very important to me, as well as to the families and many other people who've served their country. It's a fantastic place, an amazing place, and I'm lucky to be here today on a lovely, if not windy and slightly cold day, as you can see by my hair blowing all over the place, but a lovely, in fact, sunny day. I was here not very long ago because I was here for the unveiling of another war memorial, that time for the British Land Army ladies, and on that occasion it was raining sterols. So in a moment I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the Lisbon Meru and the memorial that I'm here for. I'm now standing at the very heart of the Armed Forces Memorial, which I'm sure you can see beside me. But I'm here not for this memorial, but for the unveiling of a memorial to the Lisbon Meru. And I want to tell you a little bit about that. On the 27th of September 1942, the Lisbon Meru, a Japanese armed fighter with Japanese troops on board, sailed from Hong Kong bound for Japan. It carried about 1,800 British prisoners of war held in atrocious conditions, cramped, airless, and in unimaginable squalor. They were incarcerated below deck in 3 cargo holds. The freighter bore no markings to indicate their presence. On the 1st of October, an American submarine, the USS Grouper, on patrol off the archipelago of the East China Sea, engaged the Lisbon Meru, holding it below the waterline. Although initially taken tow, the line snapped and the ship drifted. The Japanese evacuated their troops, battened down the hatches over the holds and left a guard force to prevent the prisoners from escaping. For 24 hours the prisoners were held in subhuman conditions, in darkness, with no food, water, fresh air or sanitation, and dysentery was rife. There was a breakout before the ship sank the next day, and many of the prisoners of war escaped from 2 forward holds, some of whom were cut down by machine gun fire. Most of those in the 3rd hole, by then below the waterline, tragically drowned. Those who did escape were shot at in the water as they attempted to swim to shore. Many were killed or wounded, but local Chinese fishermen courageously rescued 384 of the survivors. Later, the Japanese captured all but 3 of these. Of the original 1,816 men on board the Lisbon Meru, 828 died in this terrible atrocity, and a further 200 or more succumbed from their sufferings within a few months. I'm here today to conduct a service and preach at the unveiling of a memorial to the Lisbon Meru. Over 650 people will be here this morning, including many dignitaries, to mark and to remember this occasion. Along with all the memorials here, we're here to remember all those who died serving their country in one way or another. We do this lest we forget. Lest we forget. And we pray that they may rest in peace and rise in glory. I finished the service just a few minutes ago and I've returned just to do this final recording. The Lisbon Meru sank off the China coast, the largest wreck of its kind, with the largest number of people, 828, along the 18,000 kilometres of the China coast. To date, there's been no national memorial to the Lisbon Meru. Now there is, and we pray that they rest in peace and rise in glory.